video, I'll show you how to create Azure Resource Manager template, ARM template. ARM template for deploying Jenkins master slave cluster. Now there are certain prerequisites. Prerequisites are like this. The very first thing that you need to make sure that you need an Azure subscription. After that, what is next required is you need to have Azure-CLI or Azure PowerShell modules installed. After that, you'll have to make sure that you have Visual Studio Code with ARM extension pre-installed, and last, .NET Core SDK 3.1 installed in your system for the ARM template extension to work properly. Let me show you my environment first. You will see here I already have all the required extensions. Let me show you. These are the installed extensions. Number one is Azure Resource Manager ARM Tools extension. Another one is .NET Install Tools, and these two extensions are enough as of now. I also have .NET Core installed in the system. .NET Core 3.1 is installed right now. And I'm running AZ-CLI from my WSL Windows subsystem for Linux mode. So everything is ready now. What I'll do is I'll just start creating a new ARM template. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use F1 to open the command line or to open the command prompt. Here I'm going to use ARM tools. You can see here there are options available to create all the required files. Oh, wait a second, there is no option available for creating template file. So template we have to create it manually. What I'll do is I'll create a new file, Azure deploy.json. That's my Azure deploy.json file, and I'll use control space inside the file and then use this option ARM bank. This is Azure Resource Manager template basically. As soon as you press enter, you will get these options. This is the empty template. Inside this empty template, very first thing that you need to define or design is you will have to define the set of parameters and variables that you will be using across the entire template. Parameters are basically values that you can set at the time of execution. Variables are values that you cannot set at the time of execution, but you can inject those values or use them several times within a template. Fine. We'll also create a parameters file. What we can do is once the template file is ready, use command line. Oh, wait a second. You can use ARM, select or create parameters file. Let's create a new one. And oh, wait a second. I'll create this file later once I define the parameters. That would be better actually. So let's define parameters. What all parameters are required? So from F1, go to Azure Resource Manager Tools, insert, and let's define few parameters. I'm going to define parameter like Jenkins VM admin user, or let's say Jenkins VM admin, and I'm going to say it's a string type variable and default value for this variable going to be Mahindra. Description, admin username for Jenkins master. That's my description. You can see here you can actually add all these things into JSON file directly. It's just a .json file. Anyway, let's add one more parameter. This time name of the parameter is Jenkins slave 1. Let's say Jenkins slave user, and it is going to be string type variable, and default value, let's say again, is Mahindra. And here I'm going to create a description for this. What description I'm going to write here? I'm going to just say admin username for slave instances. I'm going to reuse it for multiple instances, by the way. Then Again, insert item parameter, and let me create here Jenkins master password. This is going to be a secure string, and default value is going to be, let's say, password at 1234. That is my Jenkins master password. Admin password for Jenkins master VM. Same way, I'm going to define one more insert item parameter. This time it's going to be slave password and secure string. I'm going to provide here value mask at the rate 1234 and password for slave instances. That's my description. So I have several parameters now defined. One more parameter I'll define anyways. That is going to be the DNS name. So insert parameter again, Jenkins DNS. It's going to be a string type value, and default value is Jenkins cluster MX. You can just provide whatever name you want, and DNS prefix for Jenkins master. So I have all the parameters now ready. If required, you can define several variables as well, like for example, I'll define a variable here, ARM, and insert item. I'm creating a variable now. Name of the variable is IP range, network IP range, and wait a second, network IP range. I don't want square brackets here. I'll just write a normal value. I'll say it is 10.0.0.0/16 IP address range for this. Am I getting an error now? It's never used. Okay, that's fine. That's actually expected. And then subnet range I'm going to provide is 10.0.0.10/24. That's the IP address range for my subnet. If required, you can define some more variables here, which could be overridden properly. Okay. Fine, everything's ready now. I'll just do one thing. I'll create parameter file, new, for all the parameters. As you already put parameter.json in the same file. So this is the parameter file with the default values that you can see. Fine. It is recommended to keep validating your cluster definition file. And for that, I'm going to use the az-cli command, az-group deployment validate, and I'm going to use a temporary resource group 001, which already exists here, and then I'm going to provide parameters template file. So my template file is azure-deploy.json. Then another parameter we require is parameter. For parameters, I'm going to provide azure-deploy.parameter.json. Okay, but only thing is, don't forget you have to put an @ before Azure parameter.json. And it's done. Now let's press enter to check. It is not going to deploy anything. It will just validate the file. And if file is valid, it will just dump the content of file once again. Same file is valid. Okay, file is valid so far. It's very important that you frequently keep validating your file. Okay, so this is done. Let us try to add one resource here. What we'll be doing now is we are going to add the Jenkins master VM, which will be our Ubuntu machine. So I'll do one thing. Azure Resource Manager Tools, insert item. This time I'm going to insert a resource. And what resource I'm going to insert now? I'm going to insert an Ubuntu virtual machine. So here I select Ubuntu virtual machine, and it will create multiple resources for me. It's not actually just going to create resource, it's going to create multiple different options like a storage account. So let me call the storage account as Jenkins cluster, or let's just say Jenkins 123 storage. So that's my Jenkins 123 storage. This storage I'm going to use for all my virtual machines, basically, not just master VM, but also I'm planning to use the same one for my sleep instances also. So that's my Ubuntu VM. Let's call it as master public IP, and display name is public IP address. Here I'm going to say it's for, yeah, it's dynamic only, and DNS level I'm going to use now is parameter, and from parameters I'll use Jenkins DNS. Jenkins DNS for parameter. This is NSG. NSG is okay, like we're going to add NSG rule for SSH access. SSH access to master. And virtual network, you will see here I'm going to modify this as well. I'm going to call this as Jenkins cluster virtual network. Network security group, I guess the name is correct, but anyway I can quickly validate that. Just delete this name, control space to validate. Fine. This is going to be Jenkins virtual network. IP address range, I want this range to be picked up from variables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write variable, sorry. Here what I'm going to do is I'll just write here variables and network IP address range. For subnet, I'm going to call it as Jenkins virtual network subnet, and IP address prefix here I'm going to use variables subnet. Okay. So here it is, we are just creating everything. I'll just quickly validate whether the NSG name is correct. Yeah. Then network interface, I'm going to rename this as well to the master network interface, and this will be dependent on a public IP. Let me just revalidate it because I guess I have changed its name. I've also renamed my virtual network, so select this and validate quickly. Okay. Display name is just time. Just update this. Config. I don't want dynamic IP address for my Jenkins master, so let me make this static. And when you make it static, you have to provide the IP address manually. I'll just set IP address as 10.1.10 for my master VM. This is Jenkins master, and I want static IP address 10.0.110. I'll also update this public IP value here. So control space and Visual Studio Code will show you what is the exact name. These names you will have to make sure that you are providing correct values here, otherwise validation will fail with an error. So I hope I have made all the necessary changes. Now the final one, the Ubuntu VM that we were talking about, let's call this Jenkins master. Okay, I'll have to update what it depends on. It depends on network interface, master network interface. Display name, I'm going to call it as Jenkins master, and here it is, I'm going to call this as Jenkins master. Username, I'm going to pick it from the parameters, and this is our parameters, and Jenkins VM ID. For password, I'm going to write password parameters, Jenkins master password. I don't want 1604, I'll just make it 1804. Rest everything is okay. Let me just update everything. Master OS disk. I will have to update the network interface name here because I have made some changes initially. Okay. Just have to keep updating all those values now. Master storage. That is for diagnostic account. So DM part is valid. Let me quickly validate this using the same CLI command, basic deployment validate command, to check if I have not made any invalid changes to it. I guess there is some problem now. It's saying master storage is not defined in the template. Okay, fine. Looks like the storage account name is not master storage, it is something else. What I'll have to do is I just have to quickly go and check the storage account properties. This was network. Yeah, this was the storage. Okay, got it. This is the storage name. I can define this also as a variable. I just select this, and whatever value is repeated several times in your template, you should better define a variable for it. That makes it possible to just reuse that value. Still getting error. Tracking ID is so and so. Okay, deployment dry run is not. Wait a second. What exactly is the error now? The template deployment dry run is not valid according to validation procedure. See inner error messages, target none. And okay. I might have to run it in verbose mode to understand what exactly is going wrong. Verbose. Okay, even verbose mode is not giving me any more details. Additional info is none. Invalid in deployment, not valid according to validation procedure. See enough error details. I'll just quickly check what exactly is going wrong in this template. Let's try to run it in debug mode. Okay, debug mode, I'm getting too much of information here. Posted. Let's see. The error is template deployment. See the error. Pre-flight validation failed. Okay, I got it. It's saying Jenkins 123 storage is not a valid storage account name. Fine. Looks like storage account name is actually exceeding the number of characters it can accept. So yeah, I got it. So I'll do one thing. I'll just quickly go and check the storage account name. Rather, what I would do is let me define it as a variable here. Storage name, and let's say it is Jenkins STA and some number. Okay. And I'm going to use the storage name everywhere. What I'll do now is for storage account, here I'm going to use, instead of this, I'm going to use variables and then storage name. And this is now my storage account name, which I'm going to pick directly from variables. Now let me make that change somewhere here at the end as well. So what I'll do is I'll change this variables storage name. Fine. And let's try to validate it again. Okay, looks like there's still some error. What is error now? Okay, HTR is not a valid storage account name. Okay, it looks like problem is with the symbols probably. Minus may not be allowed. Hyphen may not be allowed here. Okay, looks like the execution was completed and it's a valid template. It's not giving any error. So I gave you an example of how you can troubleshoot the ARM template validation errors also. But please remember this will just require one Ubuntu master VM and it's not going to create the other required slave instances. I will add slave instances later. Okay. Before that, let me show you what will happen if I want to try to deploy this. I'll do this easy group deployment. This time I don't want debug, and this time also I don't want to validate. I want to actually deploy this. So I'll do create. Wait a second, let me go back to my Azure portal and let me show you that resource group, which is group 001. Group. Just wanted to show you this resource group contains exactly nothing, it's empty. What I'll do now is I'll just go and create this deployment now using both parameter file and the template file. What I have done is this time instead of AZ group deployment validate, I have used AZ group deployment create command. You can go down here and you can check the deployment status from Azure portal as well. Azure portal is saying it's currently deploying this Azure deployment template. You can check the progress here from portal itself. You can see it has done creating public IP, NSG rule, it has done creating virtual network, it has done creating the master network interface, and it's now creating the storage account. After storage account, it will then create the Jenkins master instance. It has already started doing that now. It will just take few seconds, not seconds actually, maybe 2 or 3 minutes for the entire deployment to be completed. It will just take 2 or 3 minutes now. We'll see. That's my resource group. It has created network, it has created the storage account, it has created interface, OS disk. All the values you will see, they are exactly matching with what we have defined in our ARM template. VM creation will take some time anyways. Let me check if my VM is ready. It's saying VM is ready, but anyway, to be safe, let's go to the deployment and check if the deployment is succeeded. Yes, 1 minute 44 seconds. Here it is still not giving me the output. Yeah, deployment is successful now. Fine, then I can show you how do we connect to this one now. If you go to the master VM, you can see here DNS name Jenkins cluster MX. That's the cookies that I have defined in my ARM template, and I should be able to access it now using this. SSH. Mahindra is my default username. This is the DNS label, and yes, remember what password we have entered. You can take password from this file. Admin password is password at 1234. That's it. And you'll see I'm able to successfully log in inside the system. Now here I can run my normal commands to install the Jenkins software with JDK and all the other tools or plugins that it requires. I can even show you the IP address, private IP address of this machine is 10.01.10. That's because of private IP being static. That's it for now. Next time I'll show you how to we add more VMs. Maybe the same instance here in the same template.